Give it to me straight, Doc. How bad is it? I'm afraid it's potentially terminal. So, what is it? I don't know. What? Welcome back to that build. Today I'm doing a small update. If you're new to the channel and would like to catch up, please do watch the Beetle's introduction video. There is also individual videos of each day I've actually done work on this car. Within my channel there are other playlists including interests, other builds and other people's builds. If you'd like to consider subscribing, I do appreciate it. So it's been a while, and unfortunately been a lot longer for the banana bug, and it may still be a while longer yet. So, bit of background story here. A while back I was in my driveway and sitting on idle, kind of hear a sound, and I'm thinking, that's not good. It wasn't a sound I like to hear, it wasn't the sound of joyous music or anything like that, it was the sound of a knock. And of course thinking the worst, it is an old engine, poorly maintained, etc, etc and so on. So I bought some equipment that I didn't end up using. I didn't really have the time to invest, so I thought I'll take it to a shop, give it to them, they can sort it out, I'll get it back and do all the other small, easier things. Well, in taking it to the shop, I had one good result. Number one being is they managed to fix the ABS issue in that the stupid yaw sensor was actually needing to be replaced. They did that, so job be done there, excellent. That is now sorted. With regards to the noise though, well, when they investigated, they found that the AC compressor motor was knocking. Okay, that's fine. I did hear a knocking noise. Excellent, done. Let's change that out. So, that's been done. ABS is done. Take the car home. It's been a week now. And yesterday afternoon I hear again. So I'm left in a weird situation of having fixed a noise, which I don't know if I really heard that one in the first place. My hearing's a little odd in that regard. So a noise has been fixed, but the noise that I had and heard seems to be still there. I don't know why it took a week to rear its ugly head again, and so I dare say in the time that they've had it, it didn't do it, which is always the case. So I'm stuck back with a noisy engine, which I don't know what the noise is actually from, so I will have to investigate on my own. There's no point taking it back to the shop once more. So unfortunately I've been slowly buying all these parts in order to put into the car. Many things which I'll take you through very shortly, but at this point in time I'm more or less having to take this off the road once more, which is a little frustrating because I was enjoying the week of driving it in between and the little bits I had before that, but I'm just not confident enough to say yes, this engine will survive with the noise that I'm hearing. It's just really odd. Secondary to that, I've been toying with a few things with some troubleshooting, some codes that I had beforehand. One of them being with regards to the diverter valve. Now I have actually ordered a new diverter valve, that's in the mail, but what I've ended up doing is just bypassing one of the relays which kind of controls the whole function of it. So there's a safety system within this whole mess of vacuum lines and everything like that, two relays in particular, and one being the N249, which more or less is in turn with working with the diverter valve. I'd bypass that, going straight to the manifold. It seems a little better, but there is still a hesitation, so about 2,000 to 3,000 roughly, it's still giving me a bit of a miss. So it may still be the diverter valve, though that code has not come back, which is good. There is another code which has come up since, which is regards to that stupid EGR SAI system, which I'll be removing anyway, so I'm not too fussed on that one, but nevertheless that is there. That may still be causing a vacuum leak issue, but I think for the most part I've kind of contained the vacuum problem. There's really only two links which lead into the circulating system as such between the turbo to the actual manifold intake. So I'm not really certain on that behalf, but I've gone about tinkering with a few things and just seeing if I can sort it out at all. I'm not really having a lot of luck in this situation. So I'm basically going to be buying up some parts, doing them in small little doses and seeing what sticks, and then make some videos once I know the actual results are taken. Bit of a cheat, but hey, it works. So for now, I'm going to push myself away from here, back home, and show you all the goodies that are yet to be installed in the banana thug much later down the future, once I get this knocking sound sorted. So I was going to film this outside, but it's raining, as seems to be the theme with this car every time. But anyway, so the seat you may know about if you watched the previous episode within this playlist. I built the seat onto the platform. It is ready to go in, except for one part which I will get as well. The new seatbelt buckle which goes on the side. I don't want to have to go about taking that off every single time. If I want to switch between this and the standard seat, because I'm actually quite enjoying that heated seat right now in the winter, but if I want to swap between this and that, all I'd need to do is a couple of bolts, unplug a wire, and then swap the seats over. So that is nearly ready to go in, but not really that crucial. Beyond that, as you might see here, and this is only some of it because realistically there is a lot more in the massive box that I received. This is actually a completely prefabbed exhaust system, 3-inch all the way through. So from the dump pipe itself, which we have here, with a flex piece, all that sort of affair, all the way to the very end to the tip. The tip I do have to change because it's not really designed for a bug, it's designed for a Golf, and of course Golfs actually do exit from the bumper. Bugs kind of face downwards. So yeah, I do have to actually, that's good. I do have to actually get a just a downward 3-inch angled dump pipe basically. That'll be done later. So again, another thing not that crucial at the moment. The knocking noise is far more the issue, the pressing issue at the moment. But this entire thing, this entire exhaust system was ridiculously cheap, and again, running theme with this car, it's going to be all cheap mods, and it's just because it was a really cheap car, obviously. But where this exhaust system probably will fail is in the volume factor. I don't want a loud car, I don't want that obnoxious drone and everything, so I dare say this muffler won't be really cutting the mustard in my situation. I do have something planned, but I'm going to do a progressive sort of thing on it. So stock sound, this muffler, and then the final muffler, which may be the case if this one is going to be too loud, which I dare say it will be. So that'll be another thing I'll be getting much later down the track. Again, more pressing things in the meantime. Beyond that, new brakes, so new rotors front and back, they are scored, need to be replaced. New brake pads obviously to go along with that. I have only gone for standard street style ones at the moment, despite what the box shows here. These are not slotted, they are just standard flat surface, flat faced rotors, so it should be okay. The amount of power this thing's going to be pushing out isn't going to be astronomical. I just will be changing the brake fluid, of course, putting these new ones on, and yeah, just improving the suspension. So all in all, it should make the car a lot more, well, definitely safer than what it is now with worn rotors and everything, but just in general, back to a factory guys, but just freshen everything up as such. So that's another thing. Before I reveal the big one, actually, you probably have seen little bits and pieces of it, but new, wow, completely forgot the name of these things. These, yeah, these, I've got new ones of these, so they were a little tired and need to be replaced. These are the slightly better ones in that they're a solid piece instead of being plastic, like in the cheaper variants. Mine already had these, so they've been replaced at some point in time, I dare say. There are even more upgraded ones again, but for what I needed and what I want, this will do the job quite well. I may be replacing the sway bar with a slightly thicker one as well. Maybe, it just depends. The car actually does understeer now. I found out one lovely day in the rain, so there's that. But the biggest piece, which is by far going completely against my whole cheap mods factor, is this. Yes, this chunky boy here is a new uprated side mount intercooler, which, oh man, it is nice, but it was costly, and I didn't want to go about putting a front mount on. I wanted to keep the car looking stock, but at the same time too, there's really very little airflow going for that front end. It is literally those two slots at the bottom, and that is it. So I didn't really want to hinder the cooling performance for the motor itself otherwise. This in itself is a massive, drastic, huge improvement. The stock one is literally about half the thickness. So this is a massive, substantial upgrade. I'm not changing any of the piping or anything like that. I am keeping all the original factory tubing. There's a sandwich plate which goes in between the guardrail. It's like basically a square tube more or less, where it goes from round to that. Again, at the end of the day, this will be the biggest improvement. This will stop heat saturation, which is my biggest concern. I will be putting out more boost through the system anyway. The stock turbo will, of course, handle that quite well. I may eventually upgrade the turbo there, go to a KO4. It currently has a standard KO3. I thought it might have had a KO3S, but I also don't think that's the case, given the S is on a different model, which we don't have in Australia. So there's that. But that is more or less it at this point in time. So just a small update with regards to where I'm at with the bug. I've just got to sort about getting it all running decently again. So don't know what that noise is. I'll have to investigate it. The first thing that I'm got in my head that I will be looking at is more or less doing an oil pressure check. So just ensure the oil pump's up to par. Hopefully it's just that. I don't know. It seems only recent because I don't remember on the lead up. My friend has a conspiracy theory. I'm sure if he's going to watch this episode, he'll probably comment down below. Please don't. We don't know. It's a possibility, but I kind of doubt it. But anyway, so at the end of the day, one thing got fixed, or two things got fixed. But I've still got a major one I'm concerned about before I can really press on with the car. I don't want to drive it too much because if it is quite crucial, last thing I want to do is blow the engine up. It's just going to be another setback. It's a tight engine obviously, but it still does feel really strong. It has a lot of get up and go to it. Yeah, I think it's okay, but I just want to ensure. So at this point in time, not really a lot of update until I test that oil pressure, and unfortunately that won't be for a while, because to do that I've got to remove a fair bit from the front of the motor, which includes that stupid SAI EGR system and the manifold I think too. So it's yeah, just going to take me a while to get to that. So that'll be a future update. I'll probably check that first, then just give an update, and then we'll just press on with dropping all this stuff into it. So yeah, the suspension, just as a comment, I will be doing a bit of a, you know, how's it been sort of thing. The suspension may be getting redone as well. Those coilovers, as fun as they are on really nice flat surfaces, we just don't have that here in Australia. Not a lot of it anyway. So I probably will be changing that back to a standard struts, coil, all that sort of affair. So yeah, they've been fun. I've enjoyed them. It does make for an interesting ride, but there's just not enough decent roads around here to enjoy them enough. I'm actually more jittery than anything else with regards to making sure the car keeps going straight. It just bounces the car really badly. But anyway, apart from that, that is pretty much it. So yeah, small distraction episode. There is nothing for the Porsche today, unfortunately. Still waiting for those bars to be done if you're watching that series. So that's pretty much it for now. So thank you very much for joining me. As always, like, subscribe, comment below, etc. This has been, well, it's not exactly Dat Build this time, but it's still the Dat Build channel. So this has been Dat Build. Now, get back to your build. Until next time, cheers.